Hey folks, it's Brian. We got to play Elderath tonight. Kind of a short session. One of our guys had to take off early, and pretty much it was all downtime kind of stuff. Last time we left the party, they were planning on making an expedition into the mountains north of here that borders the edge of Forg's kingdom. In order for us to do some preparatory work and to illustrate our skills, to shoot, I forgot the guy's name who wanted us to go to the not twisting lands, the vortex. Yeah, they call it vortex. Well, anyway, but we're not really ready to go that way yet. So we've got these plans to go on, but it's getting the end of summer, so fall is starting, and then there's going to be winter, and in the mountains, it's not going to be a good time to go. So we spent a lot of downtime. In fact, there were 20 weeks and 4 days until we get to like the first day of spring kind of thing where we can go back up. And so during this downtime, there's lots of opportunities for the players to interact with the town and to build up some skill and capabilities. For Wes, um, we worked a lot on the whole pseudo dragon um, hatching and casting the true familiar spell on and incorporating all that kind of stuff. Plus, he's also spent time trying to increase his familiar law spell skill, and learning shield mastery, that list, which is handy because there are like 3 spells right off the front. Blur, which gives everybody a -10 to hit him. There's a shield spell, which because Rune Master shields give 20 points of defense, right? So there's how are we going to incorporate that into RQIII, right? So there's 2 ways I can think we might be able to do that, but we'll discuss that later. And then there's a robe, armoring, not enchantment, but capability, which increases. If you're wearing a mystical robe, right? Your magic user, you cast the robes thing on it, and it increases your defense by 10 points, which would be 2 points of absorption in RQ3. So he's really excited about those 3 things right there. In the process of doing the whole true familiar thing, the GM, there's a spell description, right? And the spell description is designed for you go out and you find the small animal, the toad, the rat, the cat, or raven, or whatever, right? And then you cast a spell on it over time, where you get this bonding thing going on. Whereas he inserted that into incubation of the egg time. So we had 3 weeks before the egg hatched. So for those 3 weeks, Wes was spending half a day, bonding with the egg, and then spending the other half of the day working on shield mastery and familiar law, as well going to visit with Captain Kryn whenever he could. Once it hatched, he had me, for each of those 3 weeks, he had me roll twice a week. Yeah, because there were 6 rolls I made of meditation and the actual familiar law spell to give me bonuses for the actual casting of the spell on the creature once it's here, kind of thing. And between making his meditation skill rolls to give him a modifier and spending ritual time, he was able to make 5 of the 6 familiar law skill rolls, which gives him a plus 25 overall for when we're actually going to do this thing. And on top of that, he spends a day. Yeah, he got a day of ritual preparation, which gives him another plus 50. So he's at 130 something percent, and he rolled a 99. Automatic failure. Sorry, it didn't work. So we're all freaking out. Don't let it out of the cage yet. Wait. We'll try this again tomorrow. And the next day he got it. In fact, he got a special. Rolled 14. So we got a special last time, but we were decreasing it by 5% per time we did it. I was actually thinking probably minus 20. You know, like in RQG when you're doing multiple defenses in a round, minus 20 each subsequent one. And I could have sucked that up. It would have worked. But anyway, it is what it is. So, True Familiar is cast on the pseudo dragon. It is in fact female, and in my head, I'm thinking, you know, raptor kind of creature, right? How long does it take for an eagle before it's, you know, no longer a fledgling when it can take care of its own? And it's only like 120 days. It's actually pretty quick. I was kind of surprised because initially I was thinking like a cat or dog, they're fully grown in a year kind of deal, right? But we don't really get too much in that, and because they're actually intelligent creatures and there's an interaction between me and her, you know, sometimes I can actually sense through her, even though there's a spell for that. Sometimes she can sense through me, and so there's kind of thing back and forth. Also, we don't know much about pseudo dragons, so Wes got stung a few times and got really, really sick. Until we all realize, okay, stinger is poisonous, leave it alone, stay away, kind of stuff. Oh, let's see, what else? That's Wes. Yep. Okay, so Raymond spent a lot of time translating that plant lore book that he got from the library into Norse, so the rest of us can try to use it to increase our plant lore. He also spent time writing a treatise on first aid, which is based on his skill of first aid. He's also practicing his Norse and practicing his common. Spending time practicing the plant lore stuff with the farmers on our villa. And then spending time, you know, at the church, you know, not coordinating, you know, meeting with people, trying to develop a rapport and relationships there, and improve in his own worship skill. While doing all of that, he did find carved in the back of one of the pews a symbol for the Iron Hand. And the Iron Hand, not the Iron Wind. That's the first Iron Wind. That's the, do we all make a roll kind of thing? But no, it's something else. The Iron Hand is a group of religious fanatics that Lady Tamara has outlawed. That have been around since the early days of the Lords of Bloodstone and the overthrow of Forg. And he shares, you know, this information with Runt because Runt spent a lot of time in the temple as well. Runt finds out about and is indoctrinated into a secret society of Lorath. So he's on the inside. And he shares with them this thing about the Iron Hand. So there's some information shared with him and Heta. Apparently this Iron Hand group, a bunch of male mercenaries that have a long history of abuses against women. They have a tendency to hang out in the temples of Venus when they're not training. And apparently the Baron has used them from time to time. He then shares all that information with us. And he's doing training with Heta for Dagger and something else. I didn't write it down. Alexander interacts with and gets inducted with the Karsh Ranger Wardens. That's that tower that was in the woods outside of the Citadel. They are in fact Rangers. And he was able to ingratiate himself with them based upon his previous dealings with the Ranger back in Telgar. I forgot who it was already. And the fact that he's got a dog he's training with, and so, you know, they help him out with some of the training for the dog. Not so much training the dog as training the handler on how to deal with the dog. And they put him through a series of tests, put him on guard duty, that kind of stuff. And he gets accepted as part of their troop. He also learns some Ranger spell lists, a couple of those, and then One Eye, which at first I thought, who's this guy? He's talking about he got clawed one eye completely out, and we had run into him earlier. I'm thinking, where? And eventually it came to me. We had run into him out in the woods to the north. One night we came across him. So that's what he's doing. Raymond, Runt, Wes. And then over the winter, there's rumors of a large black dragon raiding herds of animals here in this part of the territory. So Sam has found us. A couple other things. You know, Wes he spends a couple hours every night practicing for his dexterity, trying to increase his dexterity, right? Eye-hand coordination stuff. Actually, his speed is what he's working on. And he's been doing that since we pretty much started the game. Because he needs to get, if he gets his dexterity up to 16, that will decrease his strike rank enough that he can, do his rapier attack and get a dagger attack at the end of the round. And that's all on top of our post if he is able to pull the fencing stuff off. So, he gets 2 chances while we're waiting for spring to come around to make that increased roll, and he has failed 2 previously, and he failed both of these. It is only a 30% chance, but still, holy cow. And I can't really complain since it's free. So he's got his next chance coming up is in month 2. I think just 2 more months or a month and a half, something like that. He'll get another chance to try. Anything else going on? I think that is... Oh, there was some discussion early on. Oh, that reminds me. There is nothing... We don't have a live play, so there's nothing in the description. Because we started out just discussing, in general, some philosophy on this whole... We can now speak, some people, or read, some people, these foreign languages, and we know about these things somehow, right? How and why. And Raymond is thinking some kind of planar travel thing going on, and Wes is thinking demonic possession. Maybe not active, but some kind of possessive. These are demon memories coming through to us. But Raymond has cast Detect Curse and Detect Evil on all of the items we have, the Needler and the solar panel, and on all of us, to include the dog. And, we are neither cursed nor truly evil. But Wes still has this, maybe it's a passive possession thing going on. But, he's not sure. So the discussion early on between Raymond and Wes was, hey, while you're at the Mages Guild, can you check around about this planar travel stuff? And I'm thinking demon possession, I could check into that kind of stuff too, just see if anything comes out about what's happening to us, or has happened to us. But the only demonic possession we have experience with was Hedda's daughter, where it was obviously she was being consumed by the demon kind of thing. But there's this third option. Maybe it's maybe reincarnation is real, in which case we're remembering past lives. So that's another option we have to investigate on what's happening or has happened to us. And then from there we went into, okay, we're going to do how long is it going to take until we actually go spring? That's 20 weeks and 4 days. And so we can do all this training for this time, plus waiting for the egg to hatch. And so there's lots of downtime skill percentage figuring out stuff going on. And then there's some social interaction with interacting with people and learning this information. So we know a whole lot more about the politics here in town between at least the 2 temples and the Baron about things happening. So handy overall. I mean, Wes has a familiar now, and he's got Shield Master, although it's only 30-something%, but with the amulet, that's up to 50, which is a decent chance if he has time to cast stuff before going into battle. So we'll see how that all works out. He's also thinking about actually making a mage's guild robe, if they don't actually have those kinds of things, for himself to throw on, so he can cast that robe spell to beef up his protection, unless the GM lets me cast the rope spell on his heavy shirt and pants, which is possible. There's a higher level spell I don't have access to yet that should do the same thing for leather armor. So, we'll see how things work out. And that's it. Happy gaming. Oh, November, No Shave November, Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Happy gaming.